Morning, everybody. A very interesting session I just attended on the employee engagement. And of course, it boiled down eventually to soft skills and skill development and blah, blah, blah. And that normally happens with any session on employability. It finally comes to soft skills and vocational training. So, but very interesting session indeed. We have a very interesting mix of participants here. We have people from HR, we have people from education, and we have people from, People, okay? So that's a very important thing. So I'll touch the entire issue of employability, inverted commas, with respect to these three aspects: the management aspect, the academic aspect, and the people aspect. And so we'll touch it, try to touch it from academic angle, management angle, and a slightly spiritual angle. I have an issue with this word employability, and why I will tell you that. May I have your attention, please? Of course, I'm not very well known to the Jaipur crowd, so whatever, but if you could give some patient hearing, then I think it will help me organize my thoughts better. So why do I think I have issues with the word employability? I don't call it employability, employability problem, but I call it the employment problem. And why I call it the employment problem, I'll tell you from my experience. I hold placement camps since last year for the students, for the graduate and the postgraduate students in government and grant and aid colleges. Given the industrially developed state that we are, I have a pool of 70,000 vacancies. I had a pool of 70,000 vacancies last year, given by something like more than 5,000 employers. I have a pool of something like 150,000 students in the final year, finishing their graduation and post-graduation. I asked them to register for employment in these vacancies. Just take a guess how many people registered. Don't worry, only 60% of them. Something like 70,000 plus students registered. Okay, fine, we have something like 70,000 students, something like 70,000 vacancies. I'm forgetting the numbers, but it was something very close to each other. Number of vacancies was, I think, slightly more than the number of students. Number of vacancies was slightly more than the number of students. Please mark this statement. Now comes the real picture. We hold a series of placement camps. What was the turnout of the students in these placement camps? Again, just make a guess. About 37 to 38,000 only. So we're talking here of 70,000 vacancies, the turnout, 37 to 38,000 only. Out of these, something like 28,000 get shortlisted, and something like 9,000 get selected. One story. Another episode. So we decided, companies running after us, please do something, we have so many vacancies, can you help us in filling those vacancies? I said, fine. And some of them coming up with vacancies as high as 2,000 each. One company had vacancies of 2,000 each, and 3 to 4 companies had something like 500 vacancies for the entire state. So I said, fine, I'll do it for you. 4 companies, 1,900 vacancies. I will organize special camps for you, for those students who had passed out in May, and probably I thought they would be looking for jobs. Anybody would think that they would be looking for jobs. So I again sent SMS messages to all these students, 56,000 of them I sent these SMS messages, of which the college did not have any idea what they were doing, whether they had gone to higher studies or whatever. Just make a guess, how many registered? Only 2,000 students registered. Okay? So 1,900 vacancies, 2,000 students. I was happy. I said, this time I'm going to strike gold. I organized 3 placement camps for them. What happens? First camp. Just make a guess, how many students turned up? For 1,900 vacancies, how many students turned up? 6 students only turned up in one placement camp. 11 students turned up only in the other placement camp. And out of these, of course, 50 to 60% got the jobs. Why I am trying to bring up this issue here is that the problem is not only an employment problem. Had I been talking to a forum of only academicians, I would have put up the entire problem in a very different way altogether, because I don't say that there is no problem with academia, because you also have to see that 40 to 50% people did not get employment, more than 50% rather. But also, the problem is on the other side, is there. So that's why when I'm speaking to a forum like this, a mixed forum like this, I'm putting up this problem as an employment problem, not an employability problem. So what is this employment problem? The problem is not only one-fold. The problem is two-fold. When I advertise for government posts, for something like 100 posts, 1 lakh people apply, 10,000 people apply, 50,000 people apply. But when the private sector advertises for 100 posts, how many people apply? You may be knowing it better. I will not give you your data. My data will be a good indicator for that. The expectations of both the sides are very high, and what they are offering is not matching with the expectations. Neither the employer, their expectations are very high, but what they are offering is not in line with what the student wants. And the student has very high expectations, but they are also not offering what the employer wants. Now the issue is, are we going to remain in this situation forever? And what do we do about it? Now let me tell you to all the HR people, when you work out your job descriptions, what kind of fringe benefits, what kind of salaries, what kind of packages do you put up? I have seen employers coming up with packages of something like 13 to 15,000 a month for very, very skilled type of work, very, very skilled type of work, like a data processing work or a BPO work or things like that, which require specialized, very specialized skills. Now people, all of you sitting here, you have households. Tell me, in what salary and what fringe benefits do you get an unskilled worker at home? For the last 4 months, I've been struggling to get a help at home, ready to pay 15,000 along with food and a quarter to live, but not able to get it. Now, if you cannot get an unskilled worker for 14,000 to 15,000, along with very good fringe benefits, do you think you can get very specialized people with a high level of attitude, positivity, smartness, fluency in language, and specialized skills at just 13 to 15,000 and the kind of dignity of labor we all give? The first and foremost things as employers, as all HR people will have to understand here, that if we want people who are employable, if we want employable candidates to come after our jobs, we have to improve our packages. We have to improve our offer to them. We have to make a deliberate and conscious attempt also to ensure dignity to that work. You can't hire a BPO call worker and treat them like a nobody. The new India has aspirations. The new India has ambitions. The new India has dreams. Are the employers ready to fulfill those dreams? That's one question. And second, I come to the academia. I deal with academia day in and out. What are we catering to the students when we are delivering education to them? I put education as 3 C's. Content, that's a curriculum. So curriculum is 1. Competence and creativity. Tell me, very honestly, just try to figure out how much all of us are focusing on the competence and the creativity part. The competence, curriculum, and the creativity remain like Ganeshi in between and Riddhi Siddhi on both the sides. The Riddhi Siddhi, competence and creativity are not seen. Only the curriculum is seen. Only the curriculum is seen. And there is an overemphasis on curriculum at the cost of competence and creativity. But the entire set moves together. It's a pride that moves together. Can we have competence and can we have education without competence and creativity, only curriculum? Take examinations, have lectures, take examinations, and send them to the job market? What happens to the kind of education that has been described in our old Indian tradition? All of us know the Gurukul pattern. What was Gurukul pattern? It emphasized all the 3 aspects, not only the curriculum. Grade 1 this, grade 2 this, grade 3 this, final year this, second semester this, third semester, fourth semester, 5th semester, up to 10th semester, 12th semester, all semesters done, students passes with good grades, but competence questionable. Creativity dies in curriculum. Creativity dies in curriculum. Because as soon as the curriculum starts saying that the apple is red, the creativity dies who can think of apple as green. Tell me, how many of you only teach apples are red? Has anybody taught apples are green? Honestly, all the academicians over here. Have you ever taught apples are green? Apples are red. Apples are red. Now, here it's not even creativity. It's a fact that apples are green, but still we don't teach them apples are green. We teach them apple is red. Okay, so the teacher draws an apple on the board and you color it. So what color, ma'am? The student asks, what color, ma'am? The teacher doesn't say. Okay, what color apple have you seen? Fill that color. Teacher doesn't say that. Teacher just says red color. The child knows apple is red color. And where is apple green? Where is apple yellow? Haven't all of us seen red apples, red and yellow apples, yellow and green apples, mix of red, yellow and green apples, slightly is a shade of brown. The sky is pink. All of you may have seen the movie. The child says, my sky is pink. So, sky is not pink. Child sees the sky as pink because he has, what has impressed upon the most is the evening sky when he has seen the sky as pink. But the teacher wants the sky to be colored as blue. And the teacher gets upset when the sky is not colored blue. What have you done? This is wrong. That kills creativity. So curriculum kills creativity. Overemphasis on curriculum, low emphasis on flexibility in the curriculum, and ability to think out of the box goes when we define the things in a box. So this is This is the time of a demographic dividend which we all are looking forward to reap. If we do not get back or get forward, either way, decide. Either get forward, go in for modern pedagogies, international pedagogies, or get back to the old traditional system of Indian education. Do anything, but focus on creativity, innovation, and competence. A student comes to the institution to learn how to do things, to learn what to do and how to do. Why to do it is taught by the life to him. So the school of life teaches him that. But what and how? So we only teach him what. What about the how? The curriculum teaches what? Do we emphasize on how to do it? And when he enters the job and gets on this how business, the student fails. The student passes the examination of the university, but student fails the examination of the job or the life. So it's the right time for us. We cannot allow a demographic dividend to become a demographic disaster. We all have a very important role to play in this, and let us all collectively think as we are doing here, but not leave the things here. You people may have heard like Shamshan Vairagya. I have a problem that, I always come to these spiritual things when I am talking about anything. You've heard about Shamshan Vairagya. What is Shamshan Vairagya? Is that when you go to a funeral, till the time you're there in the cremation ground, you're thinking about what is this life? Life is very short, nothing, I'm unnecessarily getting into all this. And you think of so many high and lofty ideals. And kind of vairagya develops into you. That this is life. See the person who was playing in cash like anything, and he was running after money and wealth and powerful, and so now he's down into flames. So what is his life? So you develop a vairagya. And as soon as you come out of that cremation ground, you're back into that life. Back into that life of attachment. That's Shamshan Vairagya. And that's what happens in these conferences also. All of us come, talk big, big things like Shamshan Vairagya. Like that detachment that comes when you are in the cremation ground. And as soon as we are out of the door, we become the same normal self. Let's take back from here. Whatever we discussed, let's take back from here. Let's start implementing those. Whatever little we can. We all will be having limitations. There may be some startups, so they can do it on their own, but some of them may be working in larger organizations. You will have problem convincing your management. But try to do your bit, even from the people from the academia. Try to do your bit. Even if you can change your own class, the class that you are teaching, you have done your bit. Even that is enough. Be the change yourself, and a small change brings revolutions. So let the change start. Let the change come. All of us think about these things. All of us really know a lot about these things. You don't need a person like me to come and tell you about these things. All of us know it, but we have to make a commitment to start it. We talked about vocational education. Now, I'll again, of course, if I have time, I don't know what is my time limit, and so I'll just take 2 to 3 minutes. I think I've gone too long. Vocational education and soft skill education are very, very important in education. Very important parts of education. So we have started an initiative called the Finishing School, where we impart soft skill training to the students. Vocational education also, the UGC and AICTE now, I think there's somebody from UGC here would be knowing, but in my discussions with them, and I think AICTE also, that they are gradually moving towards one skill program, one vocation program compulsory in the entire graduation course. We have to develop the training abilities. I have a budget this year in my department for training 75,000 people, 75,000 students. but I do not have qualified and competent trainers to do so. We lack in training abilities. And academia and the industry together, they can come hand in hand to develop these abilities. I may have called something like 30 to 35 companies requesting them that please try to train my students. I will pay. I don't want it from CSR. I will pay to you, but please train them. It doesn't fit into this thing, but we have to. Industry and academia have to come together to develop these kind of skill programs, the training programs. And also, another challenge is there. It's not so easy, of course. It's easy to say, but it's not so easy to execute, because skill scenario is very dynamic. If you pick up a skill and starts training for 4 years, after 4 years when the student comes out, the skill is no more relevant. So it has to be very, very dynamic. That's why I'm saying industry and academia have to come together, because otherwise academia will keep on training people in certain skills, and when the student comes out after 4 years, the skill scenario would have moved to another level. So both of us need to work together, and I really congratulate Ravi on this, Elets on this occasion, that he has made a good attempt to bring the two together. Because most of the previous conferences that I attended were either education, mostly education only, sector specific. But bringing HR and education together is a very, very good thing that they have done, and that's where we need to interact, network, collaborate, coordinate, everything. Thank you very much. Thanks for patient listening. Any questions? I don't know, during the panel or at this time, whatever they say.